Good evening, guys, and welcome out to Revolution. And so this is part 2 of examining a worthy inclusion, the Johannine comma of 1 John 5, 7-8. And this is an article by Timothy Decker. So this is part 2. Now, I was going to do a part 2 this morning, but I got a bit busy. And I started to study. And I thought I'd, rather than, just make another video and talk about things that I've already talked about, I thought I'd examine a few things and just double check a few claims that have come up. And so Elijah Hixson, he did an article on the Evangelical Textual Criticism blog. So I'll just pull that out. Now, this is in 2020, so this is about 5.5 years ago. He did a pretty reasonable job as far as going through and examining which manuscripts contain the comma, etc. And when I say he did a reasonable job, as far as he could go at that time, he did what he could. Now, he did oftentimes say some strange things like this is a Catholic manuscript. This manuscript, it almost sounded like, when you read the old Chick tracts and Islam's Catholic, the black popes behind the president and all this sort of stuff. Everything just goes back to the Roman Catholic Church. Like even here, in short, 61 is a manuscript of Catholic Franciscan provenance. He just says that on almost every manuscript, which I thought was quite strange. And but anyway, that's not what I really wanted to talk about. What I really wanted to talk about was this manuscript here, 918. So he says the date was probably 1573 to 1578. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to read through what Elijah Hixson says here, and then we'll go back to Timothy Decker's article because he does make this type of claim as well, and then we'll examine exactly if this is a copy of Erasmus's text. I did the study today and proved to myself that it is not a copy of Erasmus's text or other printed TR texts. Now, this will be like a starter, like a little stub for further research. Obviously, I didn't collate the whole manuscript. I just went to a few places where Erasmus's readings were different from other TR readings. But then I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll go through and look at specifically Textus Receptus readings that appear in all of Erasmus's editions, in Stephanus, in Beza, and I'll look for those type of variants that occur in the Byzantine text. And sure enough, I found differences. So that proves that this is not copied from any edition of the Textus Receptus, which I think is a pretty big thing because sometimes, and this is exactly what I almost, I wouldn't say prophesied because to me, it's just an obvious thing that people who dismiss the comma, people who dismiss evidence for the comma, they want to dismiss these manuscripts as just rubbish. And so they say, well, it's probably just from the printed text. And this is what I said. Well, if someone makes that claim, then people are less likely to waste their time studying these things. So I'll read what Elijah Hixson has here. Then we'll go back to Timothy Decker's article. And then I'll go through and I'll show you exactly why I don't think that this is from any edition of the printed Textus Receptus. So GA 918 is another manuscript, notice, with Catholic provenance. I don't know why he does that. It is one of 3 manuscripts. The other 2 are 61 and 429 in the margin that have the Comma Johanneum in exactly the same form as Erasmus's 3rd edition. And then so he says, so Erasmus is likely the source of the Comma Johanneum here. Okay, well, that still could be true with the research that I've done, or it could be an independent witness to the Comma Johanneum. If that were not enough, Watchell in the Byzantish text places 918 in group 453. It is the youngest member of that group by a couple of centuries and the only member to have the Commuhanium. So per my remarks above, it is beyond a reasonable doubt that the Commuhanium is an addition derived from Erasmus. We might have expected the Complutensian polyglot here, given its Spanish, notice again, Catholic provenance, see below, but there are a number of differences between Erasmus's third edition and the Complutensian polyglot in the Commuhanium, and 918 matches Erasmus perfectly. Consequently, 918 is not a witness to the pre-Erasmian Commuhanium. So he's basically saying this is a write-off. Don't go there. Don't waste your time. This is basically a copy. The guy's just copied one of Erasmus's texts. Okay. We can say a bit more about 918. We know that the scribe, so notice he's saying this is the scribe, okay. We know that the scribe is one Nicholas de la Torre, sometimes written Nicholas Torianos. See the reference in Ernst Gilmilskeg and all that German writing there, which I don't know. 800 to 1600. Nikolaos was born in Crete, but he worked for Philip II of Spain at the library of El Escorial beginning in 1573. Nikolaos dated manuscripts have a range of 1562 to 1586, but given the ties to El Escorial, where the manuscript remains to this day, and given what we know about Nikolaos, they probably should have an asterisk there, Nikolaos's employment there and travels elsewhere, I would expect that he made the manuscript between 1573 and 1578. So conclusion, GA 918 is a manuscript of Spanish Catholic provenance from the 1570s that broke from its textual tradition by adding the Commuhanium from Erasmus's third edition. Okay, so they've just added that from the third edition. So I just want to show you. So this is my website here, Minuscule 918. So it's very similar to Wikipedia. In fact, you'll struggle to find anything different to Wikipedia, except for the weasel words where it contains the Commuhanium in the original scribe, where the weasel words on Wikipedia say it contains the spurious, disputed Commuhanium from the original scribe or something like that. So I expanded this, okay? So, and I wrote, it is believed that, I'll make it nice and big so everyone can see it. It is believed that Minuscule 918 was copied from Erasmus's 1522 Greek New Testament. CSNTM's short article and several TR-oriented sites list 918 as a 16th century witness with the comma. This is a central reason people suspect printed text influence. The two are compared below. So when you compare Minuscule 918 to Erasmus's 1522, the only difference is the nomina sacra with father, pater, but everything else is absolutely identical, including all the breathing marks and accent marks. Okay, so the only difference is in Minuscule 918. The only difference is Minuscule 918 has the nomen sacrum pater, where Erasmus does not, but has the expanded pater. Okay, and then it talks about F.H. Scrivener. He dated it to the 14th century. Caspar Noé Gregory dated it to the 16th century. So it's agreed to by the INTF, the Institute for New Testament Textual Research. The manuscript was added to the list of New Testament manuscripts by Scrivener, then Gregory. Gregory saw it in 1886. It was briefly described by Emmanuel Miller 8. In 1908, Gregory gave it the number 918. Currently, the manuscript is housed at the Library of Escorial in Escurial. Okay, so there you go. That's my article on it. So I can move on from there. Let's go to, I might actually have to type this in again. Timothy Decker, 1 John 5:7. Okay, here we go. And I'll just read what he said. Now, I'm pretty sure it's in his second article. So we'll go to Timothy Decker here. I'll navigate my way. So there's been 5 articles so far. So it's number 5, 4, 3, and 2. Now, so basically where we got to, where we sort of started to go, okay, we're getting into the weeds here. We're looking at different manuscripts and things like that. So we were comparing Scrivener. Now, G8 629, I've looked at that quite extensively, and so that's something we will bring up. But I've already done a lot of homework on that, so I'll probably mention that in my next video. Codex Montfortianus, I've done quite a bit of work on that. That is a separate witness for the Common Johannine. Codex Britannicus is different. Now, someone along the way just said Codex Montfortianus is Codex Britannicus, and that's just become parroted by almost everyone. And so I'm coming along saying, no, Codex Montfortianus is not Codex Britannicus. And Erasmus, in his Annotationes of 1522, 1527, 1535, he clearly has the reading of Britannicus, and it's different to Codex Montfortianus. And so, and I appreciate here that Timothy put perhaps the manuscript. So he's not being dogmatic here. He's just saying, okay, well, perhaps. And I think because he might have heard that I am doubting that, so he's given the benefit of the doubt that perhaps it can go either way. So this is the one that we're looking at. So basically what I'm saying is I've studied into these 2. I will bring up information on them. But I thought, well, I'll study into G8 918 because I think what happened last time I did a study, I got so far and then just sort of dropped it. It was just getting a bit too time consuming. But today I was able to spend a bit of time on this. And so so he does mention this, and he says it is most likely copied from Erasmus's 3rd edition, 1522, as it is an exact match. Okay. Now, I don't think he brings this manuscript up again in this article. No, it only appears once here. So that is Timothy's article, so I won't bring that up again. I don't think I need to bring up Elijah Hixson's one again. But what I will begin to do is show you the influence of this. So we don't need that article open. Let's go to James Snap Jr. Now, he does mention Elijah Hixson's articles. Earlier this month, over at the Evangelical Text Criticism blog, Elijah Hixson offered an informative post which included pictures of the few Greek manuscripts that have the Common Johannine in the text of 1 John 5:7. The earliest is GA 629, a Latin Greek manuscript dated to 1362. I offered some analysis, etc. And then he goes down and says, the 3rd oldest Greek manuscript of a Common Johannine is the text of 1 John 5:7 in GA 918. Hixson, so this is a summary, Hixson, by a series of simple deductions, narrowed his estimate of its production date to the 1570s. And I'm pretty sure I've heard that repeated quite a lot. So, so I just sort of mentioned that's what came up in a search. I'm not sure if anything else comes up in a search with that. Okay, we got all Greek manuscripts of James have been discovered since Erasmus' time, have supported Poneute, except for the note in the margin of 918. Okay. And so that would be an interesting thing to look at, as you will see later. But we won't do that today. I'll do that later on, because I just wanted to show you what I've discovered. So I'll just quickly switch something on. Contents. Now, so what do we do with this? Okay, so minuscule 918. Now, I do have a nice pretty picture of the Commuhanium there as it appears in that document for anyone who wants to go and check it out. Now, I have typed it out. I've checked over it quite a few times, and so that is an accurate representation of not only verse 7, but also verse 8, seeing that verse 8 contains some of the comment as well. So where do we go from here? Okay, so I thought, okay, what's a reading that Erasmus has that is claimed to be not in Byzantine manuscripts, so it could have a difference here. So what I did is I searched for Ephesians 3:9. So most people know that in Ephesians 3:9, here we have Desiderius Erasmus in his. Okay, so here we have the Complutensian Polyglot has oikonomia. Okay, now Erasmus has koinonia, which means fellowship. Okay, so oikonomia, it means quite a lot of things. It's a very strong word in Greek Orthodox circles. I mean, oikonomia has things to do with communion, things to do with the kingdom, all sorts of different things. It's quite a powerful word. But all of Erasmus's editions have koinonia, which is fellowship. So koinonia, 1519, 1522, 1527, 1535, and this is followed through Colonnaeus. And we also look at Stephanus. His last two editions have that. When we go to Theodore Beza, we'll just go to 1598 here, has the same word here. Elzevir's. So it's in the Textus Receptus traditions. Okay. So what about this manuscript? Surely if this is a copy of Erasmus's, it should have koinonia. Here we have oikonomia, which is not Erasmus's reading. Let me just zoom that in a little bit, and I'll prove to you that this is the actual spot. So if you can see, like, I'll just say it in English so you guys can see it. Oi, and then that's a K. So it's oik, and then, it's actually a K and then a small O, and nomia, sorry. So it's oikonomia, and that is exactly what is in, let me just grab Ephesians 3:9 here. In other Greek texts, we can clearly see that. Let me maybe pull that down. Scrivener. Okay, so the 1881 has tis, so you can see the tis there, the E there, oikonomia there, and it has to mysteriou, and this has to mysteriou there. So clearly it has the Westcott-Hort type of reading. It does not follow any of the Textus Receptus editions. It doesn't follow any of the editions of Erasmus, Stephanus, Beza, Elzevir's, or Scrivener. Okay, so you cannot say, at least in this one example, that Ephesians was copied just from Erasmus's 1522, like Elijah Hixson has just claimed and said that's exactly where we land. Now even Nestle, he has oikonomia there. So I just sort of point that out, the oikonomia. So that was the first thing that I saw. I thought I'd look that up. Now it does take quite a long time to search through these because they're not listed. So I had to actually go through and read a lot of this, and just trying to figure out where you are in a document is really hard. But I was able, let me pull that down, to do another one. Let's go to So say, okay, so that's the oikonomia one. So the in Scrivener have koinonia, Ephesians 3:9. That's fine. So this other one is in 3 John, verse 12. Okay, so it has this word here, oidas. Okay, so when you go through the textual variants that are listed on Wikipedia, it says oidas is quite a popular one. It's in Sinaiticus, it's in Alexandrinus, it's in Vaticanus, Codex C, C, and all the rest of these. But this is the reading of the Textus Receptus, oidate. So this says oidas and this says oidate. Okay, so it's got the M there for majority text. Now, let's have a look at what the Textus Receptus says here. Well, all we really have to do is just have a quick look at, maybe we'll look at Erasmus's text. So he has oidate here. Okay, so he doesn't have oidas there. So clearly this is his 1522 edition. Now then when we go to say the 1550 edition of Stephanus, he has oidate there as well. Scrivener, he has the same. So it doesn't change. And even the Greek Orthodox Church has it there. Okay. But as we clearly saw, it has oidas here. So it's different to all the Textus Receptus readings. And this is in 3 John. So this is just a few pages up from 1 John 5:7. So what I'm trying to show you here is this has been claimed to be a copy of a printed text. But I'm clearly showing you here where it departs from the printed text, all the printed TRs. So it does not copy the Textus Receptus. So that has to be taken into consideration. The text of Erasmus, 1522, that Elijah Hixson is claiming the comma comes from, it is different there. So that's just two places. Now, if someone wanted to go through a whole bunch of places where Erasmus's text differed, I mean, that would be fantastic. That would be great. But I think those two they open up questions. They show people that, we've got to question this narrative that this is from a printed Greek text. Now, it could be, but when Scrivener first saw it, he said it was 14th century. So this could be one of the earliest representations that we have of the comma extant in our hands. Now, just because Elijah Hickson's come along and proclaimed that it is from 1773, written by a certain person, hey, look, that's all good and fine to make these speculations and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, we are certainly not certain about that. This document has not been thoroughly collated. And I think if someone did thoroughly collate this, they would see that this is Byzantine text. Now, just reading through this, working out how this works, basically wherever you have these type of commas in the margin, that's where you have the text. So say that word there is Diotrephes, obviously in 3 John. You can see, a few other words, materia, witness or testimony. But so these little commas show you where the actual text is. Where there is no comma, which is actually not on this section, because I don't know why, but sometimes what he does is he has the text but with no commas. So I'll just go to the very next page just to show you. Okay, so this is Jude. Now, that would be an interesting one because I'm pretty sure there was a couple of variants in Jude that really only appeared in Erasmus's first couple of editions, and then they were changed. Maybe in all of his editions, and they were changed. So I'll try and get textual variants in Jude. Let's check it out. Okay, so we've got 82 there. Go to the main article. All right, we've got Erasmus's text here. And we're straight into the book of Jude. Let's go to the next page. Okay, so I might have to quickly chat GPT this. What are some textual differences between TR editions in Jude? Okay, so there is a difference between the text in Jude 22 to 23. Okay. Very interesting. So I might try and quickly do that study right now, because I guess in a way I've sort of shown you the two places, oikonomia and the other one in 3rd John there. And so I guess now we're entering into Jude. And you can see here he has all the commas there, but then this is his own writing, say from this full stop here. He will just start going through and have his own commentary. So now we're going to find Jude, the end of Jude. So I guess we'll just find the end of Jude and work our way back. I'm pretty sure Jude is the last book. If it has the book of Revelation, that would be great. Okay, quite a long commentary there. More long commentary. And some commentary goes on for 10 pages. So I guess it's like a study Bible sort of thing. Okay. Just a few more and then some more commentary. So we really want to find the end. I'll just see if I can look at these thumbnails. There we go. There's the end of it. So Jude has 25. So 22 to 23, Erasmus differs from the standard TR. Okay. So now we have to find the text again. Here we go. Yeah, what are we actually looking for? Okay, so let's see. Jesu Christu there, Jesus Christ. Okay. I'll quickly go to Jude in Greek. Okay, so we had Jesus Christ appear. Okay. Let's pull that down. Oops. Okay. So Jesus Christ. Okay, and it has curio here, but this has curio there. See, and this is how long it takes. Like some of these ones, I was looking at these things for like a good hour, going through and just trying to find out where I was in the text. So, and this is what I'm saying about people like Erasmus and Beda. They could read the text fluently, like we read English, which is such a benefit. Like I'm going, oh, I found Jesus Christ there. Okay, it's got dia before it, so then I'm searching around for dia. But then again, does that dia appear only in Erasmus's because it's a textual variant? That's what I've got to try and find out. Dia. And then a search for dia. Well, got to start somewhere. Iota and an alpha. Yeah, here we go. Dia. Verse 22. So it says dia krinomonoi. It just says dia Jesu Christu. It looks like our Lord. Dia. Okay, oops, going back, pressing the wrong buttons. Here we go. So where was dia? Definitely copy that. So I know we're not that far up. And we're near where it says Jesus Christ, but that's where it's saying verse 22 and verse 23. ChatGPT is saying there's quite a lot of difference there. So ChatGPT says the final doxology, Erasmus's 1516, is quite short. It says Dia Jesu Christu. Is 1516 edition. Okay, so I will just show you that there. Whoops, looks like the page disappeared. Did I kill it? What did I do? Okay, here we go. History. No, it should still be open somewhere. ChatGPT, where did you go? I've got so many pages open, it's embarrassing. There it went. So it says Erasmus has dia. That's exactly what we're looking at. Dia Jesu Christu. So that's exactly what it said there. which is great because I'm glad that I found that. Because that's why I couldn't find it looking at Stephanus, because it's a unique Erasmarian reading. Okay, so let's get it lined up. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So it says Dia Jesu Christu, and here it has Dia Jesu Christu. It has two Curio, so in the Nomina Sacra there, Imon, and then it's got Doxa. Okay, so the latter TR editions have Sopho, Theou, Soteri, Imon, Doxa. It's very different. Now, what I might do, I don't think that I've got Jude 25 on my website with all that information, so I'll just go to Jude 125 on Bible Hub. We'll check it out. Now I'll go to the Greek. Okay, so Westcott and Hort is very similar to Dia Jesu Christu to Curio. Okay. Amen. So that looks like the Erasmarian reading there. Let's expand that out and see. So yeah, definitely it's very different in Scrivener's, and Scrivener's is matching Stephanus's. So, but there is quite a huge difference there. I might go back one just to check Jude 124. Sometimes what can happen is you can have a verse it just seems to swap out. It's just the way that Greek works. But I can't see anything like the thea there. No, it's not in that verse, and I'll just check the verse before. Thea there, no. Okay. So what about so definitely it is matching in with the Westcott and Hort text. It's matching in with the earlier edition of Erasmus, but let's look at what he has in his 1522 here. Let's just check it out. So I'm just looking for that dia where we started. But he might have actually changed it from his first and second edition to his 1522. Sarkos, Toxes, Doxa, okay. Okay, so what exactly are we looking for? Yeah, it does look like if ChatGPT, because sometimes ChatGPT can lead you down the wrong path as well, but it does look like there is this section here was added to Sopho, Theo, Soteri, Amen, and then Doxa, or Emon, sorry, and then Doxa, K. So it does seem to have the latter reading there. So what I'll have to do is go, well, that's his 1516 edition was the one that seemed to match that document. So we will go back to, actually, I'll keep that open. It's handy. I'll see if I can go to TR books. And we'll go to Erasmus's. Well, that was his 1522, so let's look at his 1516. Content. Going down to Jude. Okay. And this is where ChatGPT can lead you, like I've just gone through and gone, okay, well, it's in 1516, but that doesn't match with what's there. So sometimes, ChatGPT is sort of good for, just organizational stuff, but sometimes research stuff, it can just lead you down the garden path. Okay, so it's saying the 1516 says that the Jesu Christu to curio imon. Let's check it out. Okay, where's the here? It seems to have the full TR reading. That seems like a Westcott Hort reading. That just does my head in because I just posted what, and that's the thing you can go through. But all I'm trying to do is find a third witness to somewhere where there's differences. Okay, so I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not sure if it actually has the Book of Revelation. It might. No, it's got a whole bunch of blank pages. So it finishes at Jude. So that's actually the last page there of the whole entire document. Okay, he's got a footnote there. Okay. But anyway, I don't think that I should continue to just try and find, this is just what I'm doing with study all day, looking for something, can't find it. Okay, move to something else and can find it. But definitely that manuscript has the Jesu Christu. It has like a Westcott Hort reading. Actually, this could still work because if I'm here and that manuscript has the Westcott and Hort type of reading, it doesn't matter what ChatGPT is saying to us, then it doesn't have the TR reading. And this is in the 1516 edition, okay? So when we look at that last verse, it is not saying it is. So basically this manuscript cannot be copied from his 1516, and we already checked his 1522. And as far as I can gather, that reading, the Westcott Hort reading is there. It does not match up with Scrivener either, or Stephanus. Okay. And so it is a different reading. So that proves my point again. So there's a third place in Jude 125. It actually, this manuscript that Elijah Hixson is saying follows Erasmus's 1522. Well, we looked at that and I thought, well, I'll go earlier, and got a bit confused with the information on ChatGPT, but it still applies. Because basically ChatGPT was saying the 1516 reads the same as Westcott and Hort, but it doesn't. But apart from that, it's better because it reads the same as Westcott and Hort, this manuscript. So it's definitely not following Erasmus, is it? So when Elijah Hixson is claiming that this manuscript is just a back translation from a Textus Receptus document, none of the TR editions are showing this particular reading, are they? And so it is an oddity type of reading. So maybe I can go to the textual variants in Jude. So I didn't really look at that. And whoops, I went Jude 125. Sorry, Jude, 125. This is the variant here. So notice omits in the majority text. So that is in that manuscript. It's in P72. I actually think I've just found something pretty interesting, because that same reading on it, sorry, the P72 one has the omega there. That's what the unique reading is. So the corrector's hand has corrected that. That only appears in P72, but it appears in all those manuscripts. Okay, so that is the Westcott and Hort reading. But omitting it, the majority text and the lectionaries. So you cannot say that this reading here that appears in this document here very clearly, via Jesu Christu to Kyriou Amon Doxa, that there is clearly a Westcott and Hort type of reading, and it's in this manuscript. So you cannot, Elijah Hixson can't say that this, whole document wholesale is a back or it's basically a manuscript, handwritten document from a printed text. So that's my third example. First example is Oikonomia, Ephesians 3:9. It's got that reading, which doesn't match up with any of the TR written editions. Then you've got the end of 3 John. I can't remember exactly what that reading was. Here we are with the Oidas reading, or the Textus Receptus Oidate. This manuscript has Oidas, and so it is not the Textus Receptus reading. But I think this one's even stronger, because clearly this here is a whole section. Via Jesu Christu to Kyriou Amon. That whole section is taken out. It appears in the Westcott and Hort text, but it is not in the TR editions. It's we just checked Erasmus's text here is just simply just not there. So he is omitting it. It is omitted in the 1550 text, as I'll quickly show you here. He's omitted there. So there it is in the Westcott and Hort. It's omitted in Scrivener's. Scrivener's follows Beza. It is omitted in Stephanus. And you can clearly see underneath here, this Greek study, apostolic study, whatever, has the Jesu Christu to Kyriou Amon Doxa. So it has that whole reading there, which is not in the Textus Receptus. So clearly this manuscript is not a copy from the Textus Receptus. So that's what this whole video is about. This whole video is to show that this is an independent text. It's not just a Textus Receptus. It's not just a copy of Erasmus's text. And so that has to be taken into consideration when someone like Elijah Hixson is saying that it's just, you don't have to worry about this text. It's just a back translation. Now, if he's claiming it's a back translation only in the comma, okay, well, he has to prove that. But I think he is claiming the whole manuscript is basically back translated. He's saying that the manuscript was written in like the 1570s. I'm not sure when this manuscript was written, but all I'm doing is showing you that it is definitely not copying the Textus Receptus. So I would say that this could be an independent witness to the Communion. Now, if it is written after Erasmus, could there be influence there? Yes. But all I'm doing is basically just showing you that when someone like James Snap is saying, well, Elijah Hixson, yeah, he's sort of proven this and proven that. No, he hasn't proven it. And I think I've actually disproven by going through and showing you these examples. And so this is just like a stub going through. I guess people will have to go through this document, work out exactly where there are unique Textus Receptus readings, and show that this document doesn't have those unique Textus Receptus readings, that it is an independent Byzantine reading. But then we have to go, okay, well, what year was this done? So that's where, I mean, it would be so invaluable to have some sort of machinery that you could take to this particular library and just test the inks. That would be invaluable. But you know, most of these people aren't doing that anytime soon. So we have to look at other criteria, and perhaps in some of the marginal notations or in introductions, sometimes we can skip over things where it might have, this was written in the rule of this person or whatever. So, okay, so I just thought I'd mention that this is, okay, so we do have a footnote here. I'm not sure what indicates a footnote, but it has Ertu, Ertu ka apo, okay. So, yeah, that might be a whole different thing. There's the apo there. Anyway, it's just a marginal note. So anyway, I think that's all I really wanted to say. So Hilly Billy is in the house saying good morning. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Said he can't stay, but he'll be back soon. Nexus is in the house saying he hopes I'm well. Good to see you, Nexus. So yeah, this video is just a, you know, before I go to bed, I'm like, I've been studying on and off all day and just going through this and looking at these manuscripts and just spotting unique readings that are not in the Textus Receptus. And so this claim of Elijah Hixson that these are TR readings, I'm just going to see if I can get Hixson's. Here we go. So here's Hixson's article. So he clearly said that this, that this was a it's exactly the same as Erasmus's third edition. So Erasmus likely copied the source of the Communion here. And then he's got this other one. It's the youngest member of a group by a couple of centuries and the only member to have the Communion. So as per my remarks above, it's beyond reasonable doubt that the Communion is an addition derived from Erasmus. And then he talks about Nikolaos down there. So I guess I'm going to continue to go through GA 918, but I think what I just put there was enough to show you that there are quite large differences between the manuscript and the Textus Receptus, and so this could possibly be an independent witness. If it is, it would be the most accurate independent witness with every little jot and tittle all perfect, which is quite amazing. But as you get into these, you do realize that the Greek written with the comma in it, like Joseph Branius and Manuel Calicus, they're very close, you know. So I think that's about it. That's all I really wanted to say. I know this video didn't go on forever, but it's nearly midnight here and I have to go to sleep. But thanks for joining us, guys. And this was not the video that I was expecting to make today, but I will continue on with this. I'll study 918 through the week. I'll check out who Nikolaos Turianos is, and I'll try and work out these claims that Elijah Hixson is expecting this manuscript to be made between 1573 and 1578. Now, he might just be getting that from the library website, and that's fine. That's as far as he can go with that. But we want to check a little bit more. Sometimes ChatGPT, like as you saw with this, it can leave you down the garden path, but at times it can spark thought, or it can elaborate on something, or just give you that tiny crumb of information that you need to just spark another thought to let you go down another rabbit trail. But anyway, guys, God bless you, and we will see you again soon.